Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is very random. It was again not planned, actually it was planned, but I have been planning this video for a long time, and I wanted to do something completely different because actually I wanted to already last week sit down and do this neutral look, how I'm showing you how I do my neutral looks that go pretty fast but still look like magical. Then something happened, real life happened, and YouTube got pushed to the side, which is kind of cool because I'm letting myself do that now. So if I'm ever missing in action, don't worry, okay? It is probably just because life has happened. Okay, so life is all around me. Rex. He is scratching himself while his butt is hitting the crate. So that's what you're probably hearing. Okay, sweeties, life has happened, and that is actually what I want to talk to you about. I'm still going to do that video as soon as I possibly can, even maybe with the palette that I used today. I'm going to show you in a second to make it like remotely makeup related also, but this is going to be a story time, okay? And honestly, I was dreaming about doing a makeup application video and doing the story time while I'm applying my makeup. I'm dreaming of doing that again, but right now everything is very, 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 very busy, and here's why. Because we adopted another rescue dog, and now I have three. Okay, and they're all here, and I am surrounded where my storage boxes used to be and everything are now basically dog crates. Okay, so I'm basically living in a dog shelter. Yeah, but this is the story that I'm going to tell you today. Okay, sweetie, if you would like that, then just keep watching. Okay, but I also want to show you at least what I'm wearing today, because actually in those last days that were super dog related, I got a package from Oden's Eye with an order, not PR, it was my order, and I had ordered their 2 limited edition Christmas palettes. Now, Christmas, as you know, it is not really part of my religion. I do celebrate Hanukkah, and by the way, we are in the middle of Hanukkah right now, so Hanukkah, Sameach, Happy Hanukkah to everybody who's celebrating that. Of course, also Christmas is right around the corner, so Merry Christmas to everybody who's celebrating that, or whatever everybody is celebrating. Have a wonderful time. Okay, so I ordered myself these palettes when they launched because I happen to really like the formula of Oden's Eye, and I also thought that they just look so beautiful. Now, price tag, I think it is really, for me, it is almost too much because, you know, honestly, I have a very big family, and of course I have to feed 3 dogs and a cat and a rabbit and 7 kids, you know, but this was my one thing that I actually bought like in a long time now. Okay, so we do have the Merry Christmas palette. I don't know if they're available right now or what is happening. I'm not following up on stuff. Just so you know, this is the palette that I used today, and I was thinking for this neutral magical look, because there are already, you know, some lighter tones in here, so maybe I'm going to use that palette on camera if I don't get inspired with something else. That is also possible. Okay, so that is this palette, and then there's also the accompanying palette, which is the Christmas Eve palette, which is also so beautiful, you know? Absolutely stunning. Also, this would actually be really nice. It is not a true taupe. It has a bit of I don't know, there seems to be like a bit of a hint of purple or something in it. Really cool. Beautiful palette. This one I haven't tried yet, but this is my second look with this palette. Then I also wanted to tell you that what is on my lips is one of those lippies from Saints, Angels, Sinners. It is still, after all that time, I don't know when I got this. I got this in PR. I am not on the PR list of Saints, Angels, Sinners anymore. That was just because I requested to be taken off most of the PR lists because it was just too much and I could not. I needed a break also from that, okay? But these are still probably my most favorite lippies, I have to say. They're just so nice. So I also don't know what is available there. I have no idea. Just so you know, that is what I'm wearing because I'm not putting any of this anymore in the description box. Okay, so story time. Are we ready? Okay, sweeties. It all started with Raven, who is our 7-month-old female black German Shepherd. She had to go and get spayed. Okay, so because we're obviously not planning to breed our dogs, we're already very, very crowded in. Plus, I am also personally very, very against putting more puppies on the market because it is already very, very crazy. And my personal opinion is nobody should breed. No dogs should be bred till all the shelter dogs have been adopted. That is like, I'm very passionate about this, okay? Like, if you're breeding dogs, like, whatever, you know? But I am just, like, I'm very much into rescuing animals. And if you have been here for a little bit longer, then you know that I am very, very, very much into that and very passionate about that. And I'd rather, well, I'm just very passionate about it. Okay, so we took her to the Jerusalem shelter. What is it called? Animal rescue shelter. I don't know how it's called really in English, but it is an animal shelter where they have basically a dog shelter and a cat shelter right next to each other, and then they also have an attached clinic where they're of course treating the dogs that are being dropped off like at their doorstep, sometimes in very, very bad condition, but also they offer so people can get their dogs neutered or spayed for a very, very reasonable price, about the third of the price of a veterinary practice. So in order to encourage people to get their dogs fixed, so we, reduce the number of dogs being put on the market. Okay, sweetie, so that is what we did. We scheduled an appointment, or I scheduled an appointment for Raven to get spayed, and we basically came on that morning not thinking that we would be adopting another dog. Yeah. Okay, so we were there, everything went well. They took Raven into surgery, and then wait, did we have Rex with us? No, we didn't have Rex with us. He was at home in his crate, and we took Raven to the surgery. Okay, so then basically we were waiting in an outdoors waiting area because, it's Jerusalem. We have very mild weather here, so everything is basically outdoors for the most part in the year. So we were waiting outdoors because we were waiting for some kind of document or something. I don't remember exactly anymore, but we were waiting for a nurse to come back and whatever we had to finish, I don't remember. Okay, and then there was this fence, a pretty high fence, where my husband was seeing 2 black ears over this fence, just the ears, like the tips of the ears, okay? And he says, Leorah, I bet with you. I bet you? Wait, I bet with you? I don't know. I bet that this is a Belgian Shepherd. All right, so I said, okay, that could be, just go to the kennel manager and ask if you can see the dog, okay? Because honestly, when I was a child, I was once in a, wow, how did one call that? Okay, everybody who understands German, it was a Tierheim. It's like, I guess a kennel or a shelter, but it was less for abused animals, I think. I don't actually know how they do it in Germany. Just for people who don't know, I grew up in Germany. That is my mother tongue, German, and now I live in Israel. Okay, so my husband went to find the kennel manager. And remember this fence thing, because I'm going to still refer to that later, okay? So he went to find the kennel manager and asked if we can take a tour, because it was actually very, very interesting. We heard the dogs barking everywhere and stuff, and we were like, what is behind those walls, okay? So he said, okay, fine. So we went into this area that was behind that wall with the fence, and then we started to see all these fenced in areas. Now they have a segment basically of the whole shelter where dogs are actually in like smaller kennels where they have to be alone because they don't manage with other dogs yet. But they also have areas that are actually a little bit like in a zoo, where they have their sleeping I don't know, boxes. It's like part of a house where they have like sleeping boxes where everybody can go in, and then they have large areas that are with nature. It's not just beton or something, you know. It's not. It's very, very friendly, where they can run around. Okay, so and in each of these fenced-in areas, there is a maximum of 4 dogs, and that is basically what it was. Okay, so we went in there, and in the first fenced-in area, there was that dog that my husband had seen the tips of the ears over the fence. Okay, so she came right to us and started to, of course, lick our hands, and she was very friendly. And then the kennel manager told us her story. So her name was Puma, or is Puma, but it's not anymore because we changed it. Okay, so her name at that point was Puma, and she was an almost 10-month-old Belgian Malinois Shepherd. And she was dumped when she was a very young puppy by the breeder at the doorstep of the shelter because she had parvo, which is a very, very bad disease. And I think 70% of puppies who do get parvo, they don't survive it. Okay, it's very, very bad. Okay, so in any case, she got dumped there because the breeder said, well, what am I going to do with that sick dog? Okay. All right, so she survived it, and ever since then she has been in the shelter. All right, so we were, of course, like completely in love with her, and honestly, before we rescued Raven, we were actually also looking into the breed of a Belgian Shepherd / Malinois, because my husband really, really loved the look of it, but we would not buy one from a breeder. The only dog that we bought from a breeder was Rex, that is our German Shepherd, a regular showline German Shepherd, because back then, I don't know, we didn't know better. It sounds so stupid, but I don't know. I have no excuses. It was just what we did, okay? But Raven afterwards, we rescued, and also that story I haven't told you. I will do that because also that is a very, very nice story. And so yeah, and there we met Puma, and we then took a whole trip basically through the walk through the whole area of the dog shelter, and then on the way out we came by Puma again, and then the kennel manager said, do you want me to take her out? Do you want to like walk with her? And basically that is when when our hearts just like okay, so we took her on a walk, and it was just beautiful. She walks beautifully on the leash, and she's a very, very sweet dog. Yeah, so we were like, oh, this is a dream, you know. I mean, to adopt another dog is though a very, very big commitment, and it is also, it's not like you're getting a puppy that you can still form and educate in the way that you maybe can do it when you're getting a 9-week-old puppy, right? So you're getting a dog that is officially still a puppy, because till about 1 year or 1.5 years, depending on the breed, they are still considered puppies, but it is basically already a teenager, right? So, I mean, just think about it. When you adopt in humans, if you adopt a baby or if you adopt a teenager, there is a smidgen of a difference, right? All right, so that was on a Wednesday. All right, so on the following Friday, 2 days later, we went with our dogs, with Raven and with Rex, to the shelter, and we said that we want to go for a walk with Puma and see how they manage, because even like if we even try to consider adopt another dog, then that of course is the basis of everything. They need to manage together, right? We also took 3 of our older kids along because they didn't have school on that day, and that's what we did, and it worked beautifully. You know, it worked just beautifully. And yeah, and then we were standing there with the kennel manager and another assistant outside of the shelter, and we're just asking a lot of questions and, you know, stuff like that. And then at some point my husband looked at me and said, so Leorah, what are we gonna do? And I said, sweetie, you have to decide that. I cannot decide that. You know, to walk away from this now, after we have like emotionally invested and dreamed this whole thing up, this is going to be hard, but we'll get over it. But to just think about putting her back into this kennel, it would be heartbreaking, but this is what it is, you know. But me saying to my husband, you'll have to pay for this, you know, you'll have to pay for this, so you have to make the decision. Kennel manager said, so you're just going to turn it that way, so if it doesn't work, you can blame him, right? Yeah. Okay, so in any case, we talked a little bit longer, and then my husband looked at me and said, okay, let's go and sign some papers. And that is when we adopted her. Basically 2 days after we had seen her, we went to adopt her. Now, I think my husband would have loved to take her immediately, but I said I cannot do that. I need to like switch so much stuff around in the house. I want everything to be ready, so she does not have to be moved around anymore. I want her to come home into her first home ever and know where her place is, and I want everything to be ready, okay? So then of course was my Shabbat, which is our weekly holiday where I don't do anything like work-wise, right? So that was of course Saturday, and then Sunday I took to really rearrange the house, because our 2 dog crates, Forex and Raven, used to be in my kitchen. We had removed the kitchen table and put the dog crates there, and now of course with the 3rd crate it doesn't work, right? So I had to empty out this room, which is, it's not empty, by far it's not empty, but a certain section of this room, which is basically my basement storage room. This is where my dogs are now, and I had to empty out a whole section so I can put the crates here. All right, so that's what I did on that Sunday, and then on the Monday we picked her up. All right, so on that day we again took both of our dogs, Rex and Raven, to the shelter. Even though we had adopted her already, we of course needed to be super careful, because, you know, going for a walk with a 3rd dog is a different thing than bringing it actually home into the territory of 2 dogs that are already an established pack, right? So we need to be super careful because we didn't want to break this, right? So we went there to the shelter. We took them for a walk, all 3 of them. Then we basically loaded everybody in the car, and then we went straight to the dog park so they could run together, so they could just get out their energy and everything. And it was beautiful to see this Belgian Malinois. Have you seen how they run? Have you seen how they run and how they jump and which leaps they can take? It is incredible. So she's very underweight still. This is still partially because of the parvo, because she's a little bit sensitive to food and things. But yeah, so we have to kind of work on that a little bit, but she's beautiful just the way she is, and she's healthy and everything is good. Okay, so then from there I think we spent maybe 45 minutes there at the dog park, and then we went home to our street. And before we even went into the garden, into our front yard, I took them for another walk here in the street, because we live right next to a forest area. And so I went with the 3 dogs there, and then we took them into the front yard. And there I spent about an hour with the 3 of them till they kind of settled down a little bit, and only then we took them into the house. Okay, so you can see it was a very long, it was not a long process, but we were trying to be very careful and mindful of the sensitivities that were involved when it comes to the dogs. But on the evening of that day, of the day when we picked her up, and by the way, her name is Dakota now, so they were already eating from the same bowl. You know, I had put 3 bowls there with food, and they were eating from the same bowl. So yeah, they are bonding, and it's actually going really well. Of course, there are sometimes little fights, but that is also what you have with siblings or with adults or whatever, or on YouTube, you know, social media. No, but they are really reasonable, and it is going super well. Also with our rescue cat, she is, no, it's a he. He is staying in the upper floor area, so he doesn't have to deal with the 3 dogs downstairs. They are only downstairs. So that is basically the story. Now when I'm filming this, Dakota is with us for exactly a week now. You're probably going to see this video a day later, you know, so just so you know. And And yeah, and it has been going super well. In the beginning, she was very, very nervous, and she has never been in a house, sweeties. Okay, so she doesn't know TV or stuff like this, you know. She didn't know small children, you know. My youngest is 6 years old, and she had never seen children, really, you know, because all her caretakers in the shelter were adults, and that was really, really strange for her. And you know, that stuff that we did not think about. You know, we did not think about that could be an issue, but she's getting used to it. But now basically she spent the first Shabbat with us, and that was also so strange, because we are just like in normal life situations where we don't even think about it anymore. We suddenly see her reaction and we are like, right, she doesn't know that. Like, for example, when we were sitting down for our Friday evening Shabbat dinner, and my husband was pulling the cork out of the wine bottle, because in case you don't know, we drink wine for that meal because we have a special blessing over wine for that meal. That's our tradition. That's what we do in our religion. And the sound that the cork makes, like this when you pull it out of, yeah, I'm brilliant, I know. When the cork comes out of the bottle, she was so nervous about that, you know. She had no idea what that was. Or then when we started to sing, because there are certain songs that are being sung around the table, she started to growl because she didn't know that people sing, you know, and stuff like this. Now on the next day, because we have another meal very similar to that on Friday night, we have another meal like this on Saturday for lunch, or on Shabbat for lunch. She was already much less excited about it or nervous about it. So she's getting used to it, you know, but it is just so strange to see something so normal for us being a trigger for being nervous to her, right? But she has a very, very good nature, and she has also gained already a tiny little bit of weight, which is super nice, because in the beginning when we picked her up, her ribs were showing, and right now the hip bones are still showing, but we're working on that. There is no way that anyone can be skinny in my household. It's not possible. Yeah, so that is basically what I've been doing last week. I have been super focused on dealing with my dogs, and dealing with their needs, and not leaving them alone and unsupervised ever, and just, you know, being on top of things and trying to make this as smooth as possible, and also to be a dependable person basically in Dakota's life, so she knows that I'm there and that I'm staying here, you know, that I'm not disappearing, and that she's not being handed over to a different person or whatever. So that is what I've been doing. Have I been doing makeup? Yes. Yes, I've been doing makeup, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it, to just like do whatever I want. Now, once in a while I do get a PR, and then of course I work with that, but beyond that, for example, yesterday, I took out a palette that I got a long time ago from one of my besties, and I had used the palette before, but right now I just filled the color scheme, and that is the Atelier palette from Scott Barnes. I immediately checked if that is still available. It is sold out right now, but maybe you can look it up if you're interested on the website of Scott Barnes. So beautiful, a very sexy palette. The formula is beautiful, and I just felt beautiful the whole day, you know, just like a completely different vibe than this, but it is also like more neutral, but there's also like a dark blue and a dark purple than in that palette. It is a beautiful palette. Okay, so just to take stuff that I feel right now, this is what I want to use, you know. I'm really enjoying that, and that is basically what it is. So we shall see about next week. Of course, now I have Hanukkah, my kids are home for vacation, I have the 3 dogs, and everything is still quite new, so we shall see. I'm going to try, maybe I'll manage to film with something with my kids also. I have no idea, honestly. I also know that some of you have said that you would also enjoy a video just about my dogs, like little clips about my dogs and stuff like that. We'll see. I have to see what happens. Okay, so I'm open for whatever, and I feel like, okay, so if I'm not applying makeup, then I'm just doing whatever, you know. This is like on camera, I'm talking about, of course, filming right now. If I cannot manage to film a video where I'm applying makeup, then for now it is what it is, okay? Because that's fun, you know, and that's life. And I think to be like really happy in this place and relaxed in this place, and I don't know, this is what I want, all right? So, good. Okay, the one thing that I still had to add, though, to the whole Dakota story is, of course, this thing with the fence. All right, so I'm going to show you a picture, and that is basically when we adopted her. That is right before we left with her from the shelter to put her in the car and to go to the dog park and to take her home. All right, so you see on that picture me and my husband, and usually he is not in any videos, but he's wearing his sunglasses, so I think it's okay. He does not want to be seen, but yeah. In any case, I know I have a pretty big butt in this picture, but you know what, sweeties, I have a butt, and I'm very, very much in love with my butt. So that is what it is. So you see there, of course, us with our black German Shepherd with that is Raven. You also see Rex, who is our showline German Shepherd, and then to the far right, I do believe, I'm just thinking about it now from memory, to the far right, that is Dakota. And of course, you're also going to see other pictures of Dakota, and I'm just going to show you a couple of pictures. But in this picture that you're seeing right now, that is the fence. All right, the fence that you see there to the left of us. This is the fence where we saw, or my husband saw, the ears of Dakota. And this is basically the moment when her fate was decided. When you think about it, it really, really moves me to think that this moment gave her the golden ticket, you know, and she has a beautiful life now. She has a beautiful life. Yes, everything is new and strange, and she has to learn a lot, but she has a beautiful life, and she couldn't be in a more loving home. So, and this is what makes me so happy, you know, to see how she's thriving and how she's enjoying life. And it makes me super, super happy to have given one more creature the opportunity to have a nice life. You know, I find this so fulfilling. No amount of makeup that I can ever put on my face will ever give me the feeling that I get when I see her running around with other dogs in the dog park and enjoying to run and be free, you know? It is beautiful. I love it. Yeah. All right, sweeties, so that is it for this week. I hope you did enjoy yourselves here, and I hope you like my story times. I know I'm a little bit here and there all the time and stuff, but that is just how I am. I'm a very jumpy butterfly kind of person. And I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, of course, leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and if you want to subscribe. If not, then God bless you too. It doesn't matter. It's all fine. And I shall see you here next time, maybe next week, you know, depending on how things go. I'm always happy to be here with you, and enjoy the moment. And Chanukah Sameach to everybody who is celebrating, and I love you so much. And till I see you next time, go ahead and sparkle. Bye.